Joker released in 2019 to critical and fan acclaim, and to say that the movie made a splash would be an understatement. It's the first R-rated blockbuster to cross the billion-dollar mark at the box office. And so a sequel always felt somewhat inevitable, whether in the form of an anthology where we'd follow other Rogues Gallery members of the DC universe, or whether it would be a direct continuation of Joker. And it was recently announced that a direct continuation of Joker is the direction in which they are going. All that we know so far is that Joaquin Phoenix will return, and that the title of the film is Joker Folie à Deux. This term roughly translates to English as madness for two, but it goes a bit deeper than that. I did some research, and essentially the term is a synonym for shared psychosis, or madness that is shared by two people. Now, I think that this raises a lot of interesting questions as to where this sequel could go. This could be a film that features Joker and Harley Quinn. Perhaps they are the two that will share madness. The first film was inspired by Taxi Drivers and King of Comedy and Martin Scorsese films. Perhaps this film will take a page out of the books of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Maybe Joker will be an inmate at Arkham Asylum. Maybe he will go by a different name than Arthur Fleck, making the reality of the previous film very questionable. Perhaps the entire film will question whether the events of the first film even happened, or if they are just one of many stories that this iteration of Joker tells himself. Maybe this will be a different version of Joker's origin. Maybe it will have the same end result, but a very different build-up to it. There are so many directions that this could go, but if this is a film in which Joker is an inmate at Arkham Asylum, perhaps we will get a lot more cameos from the Batman universe. That was one thing in the first film that I appreciated, that they really put the focus on Joker, and part of that meant that while the Waynes were in the film, they weren't making name drops to Commissioner Gordon or Victor Zsasz or Oswald Cobblepot, but I think that the sequel could start to incorporate more elements of Batman's classic mythology. If Joker is in fact imprisoned in Arkham Asylum for the course of this film, it would be a great opportunity to meet some of Batman's crazier foes. I don't know where Batman will be in this film. Maybe he will be the second member of this madness for two. Perhaps he will share the psychosis of Joker. Maybe this film will be what The Dark Knight was for Batman, but for Joker, a film that explores the duality of the characters and how they are both opposite sides of the same coin. Maybe this will be a film that is inspired by The Silence of the Lambs, where Joker takes on a Hannibal Lecter role, and either Bruce Wayne or Harleen Quinzel will take on the role of Clarice Starling. Maybe they'll be trying to solve another case from another rogue in Gotham, and Joker is really the only chance they have at solving the case. I'm excited to see what Todd Phillips does in this sequel. However, I could see it being not as successful as the first one. I could see there being a decline in interest, as the first one had a lot of very manufactured controversy surrounding it. News networks were really wanting this film to inspire violence so that they would have something to cover, and that didn't happen, so I don't know if the sequel will raise as many eyebrows. I also do feel that the first film is an incredible standalone movie, and I don't know that it necessarily warrants a sequel. I know that there has been a lot of talk of perhaps bringing in multiple Jokers, having Willem Dafoe come in and play a version of Joker, and really delving into the ideology that Joker isn't necessarily a single person, but more of an idea that can be represented through people, but more of a reflection of Gotham City than a singular person. Overall, I think that there's a lot of interesting things that this film could do, but I think that it runs into the risk of just not being as interesting as that first movie. I do think that I would have preferred another DC character taking the lead on this film. I think that Mr. Freeze has a very compelling, tragic story that would make for an interesting revenge thriller. Bane, like Joker, has a very mysterious backstory that could be explored through a film, and they could really just take the reins on telling his origin. Overall, I'm curious to hear what you guys think about a Joker sequel being confirmed, what you hope to see, whether or not you think this was a good idea, and whether or not you are planning on seeing a sequel to the 2019 film. I thought that Joker in 2019 was quite good, and I'm excited to see what Joaquin Phoenix can do, as I think he is an excellent version of the Joker. I will say, however, that I think that there are maybe too many versions of these characters on screen at this point. We're getting multiverse movies, We're having so many different versions of this character in a very short span of time. We have Matt Reeves' Batman. We had Zack Snyder's iteration of Batman, which Ben Affleck is coming back in The Flash, but does seem to be coming to a close. We had the Dark Knight trilogy in the 2000s, and as much as I love Batman and as much as I love Joker, I do feel that this could start becoming an oversaturation. Many people have already started expressing Joker fatigue, feeling that he was the main villain in all the Arkham games, he's been used in every live-action series, and I can totally understand the sentiment that it's time for some of Batman's other rogues to get the spotlight. With that being said, I think Joaquin Phoenix is great. I think Todd Phillips did a great job with that first movie, and I am interested to see what they do next. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you guys in the next one.